Hi there, it's me Audrina Lane, and I'm here again to read to you chapter 30 from Where Did Your Heart Go? Who can believe that we're already 30 weeks into this project? Anyway, let's get started. After tea, Charlie and Mitch went upstairs to his room to watch Dirty Dancing again and to really analyse the routine at the end. As the storyline unfolded on screen, Charlotte was transported into the scenes, except that Johnny looked more like Mitch and she was Baby. He reached over and grasped her hand in his as they watched the romance unfold, and all the places in between, all the dances in between. They both leaned forward at the end for the point where Johnny says, "Nobody puts Baby in the corner," the action launching into the final dance of the film. "I want to start now," Charlie said at the end, wiping away tears. "Me too, but I think we should wait until tomorrow, as I still have to show you my studio." "What? You have your own studio? Where is it? Can't I see it now?" Charlie begged. "Is it far away?" Mitchell paused for a moment and then relented, grabbing her hand. "It's not far at all," he replied as he pulled her off the bed. "What about shoes?" she said as they left the bedroom. "Oh, you won't need them," he replied as they walked through the kitchen and to a door that linked to the garage. Opening it, Mitchell flicked the light switch, and Charlie was confronted by a wooden floor, wall-to-ceiling mirrors along the one side, and even a bar. Speakers hung from the ceiling, and a top-of-the-line music centre was in the far corner. "Wow," she said, astonished as they stepped into her perfect world. "Welcome to my studio. Hope you like it." "I love it. It's fantastic," Charlie replied, and he pulled her further into the room, spinning her around before bringing her close for a kiss. "Come on then," she said in between kisses. "Let's get started." "Oh, you are an eager pupil," Mitch remarked as he let her go and crossed the room to the stereo. "Might just need to go and get my dance pump," she said. "Well, I need to get out of my jeans, so I'll bring them down with me. Anything else you need?" "No, I think I'm okay with my leggings and t-shirt, thanks," she said, smiling as the music from the film started to pour out of the speakers and into her soul. "I'll be back in 5, Mitch said. "I'll leave you to start warming up." She watched him leave before walking over to the bar, starting to bend and stretch to warm up her muscles. Then as the music surrounded her, she closed her eyes and started to dance around the room. Her feet no longer felt cold against the wood as she imagined she was Baby. She was so wrapped up in her movement she failed to hear Mitchell return until she felt his firm hands on her waist. She didn't need to open her eyes or stop moving as his hands held her firmly and his body brushed hers. Instinctively they moved together in time with the music. The song ended and Charlie opened her eyes to find she was staring up into Mitchell's. "That was great," he said, taking deep breaths. "We really worked well together." "Yeah," Charlie replied. "So where shall we start then?" "Here, I think," Mitch said, as his lips found hers. "I'm sure I saw some kissing in their routine." However, before they could get carried away, the next song started, and they decided that dancing was what they wanted to do. After another warm-up session to the next song, Charlie put her pumps on, and they forwarded the tracks to the one that really needed to work on. Grabbing his phone, Mitchell pulled up the video clip from the film, and they had a quick watch before they began. Most of the steps were fairly easy, but it was getting them in time with the music that would take more practice, and also the lift was going to take trust and judgment. They just finished the song for the 6th time when the door opened, and in bounded Jester, followed by James. "I'm off to bed, you guys. It's gone 1, he said. "Night, Dad," Mitch replied. "We're about to call it quits anyway." "Night, Mr. Cook," Charlotte said, smiling whilst wiping the sweat out of her eyes. "Oh, just call me Jim." Charlotte sank to the floor and Jester padded over and put his head in her lap. "He likes you," Mitch said, sitting on her other side, resting his head on her shoulder. "What, Jester?" "No, my dad, well, and Jester, and I really like you," he said, in a husky tone, as she turned to him and his lips came down to meet hers. "Shall we head up?" Mitch asked. "We're going to have a long day of this tomorrow." "Yeah," replied Charlotte, suddenly realising how exhausted she was now that she'd stopped moving. "Is it okay for me to have a quick shower?" she asked. "Sure. I'll have one after you," he replied as they separated on the landing. Charlie quickly located a towel in the airing cupboard and stripped off her sweaty clothes. Under the warm stream of water she thought about how far they'd managed to get in only a few hours. It was as if their bodies had been made to dance with one another. She lathered up well with her new vanilla shower gel and then cleaned her teeth, hoping more kissing would take place. As she dried off and wrapped the towel around her, she thought about the sleeping arrangements. She'd never shared a bed with a guy before, let alone one she fancied like crazy. Would she be able to resist going further than she wanted to at this stage? Mitch was wearing his dressing gown when she returned, and after a quick peck on the lips as they passed one another, he headed for the bathroom. Charlotte packed her shorts and vest set, so she put them on, sprayed liberally with deodorant and some perfume, and then dived under the duvet. Which side should she be on? Which side would he want to sleep? What would he wear? Yawning, she closed her eyes while she waited for him to return from the bathroom, and within a couple of seconds she'd fallen asleep. The next thing Charlotte was aware of was sunlight flooding through the curtains and a heavy arm draped over her. It startled her at first, but then she remembered where she was, and as she relaxed back she felt the firmness of Mitchell's body curled up behind her. She was still wearing her nightclothes, and although Mitch's chest was bare, she could feel his pyjama bottoms. How could she have fallen asleep on him? Well, not even on him, but before he returned from the shower. He must have felt her stirring, because his arm tightened around her, and she felt his soft breath on the nape of her neck as he kissed her, her body leaping into life. "Morning, sleepyhead," he murmured. "Morning, Mitch. Sorry about last night. I didn't mean to fall asleep," she replied, as she wriggled round so she lay facing him. "It's okay. You looked so sweet last night," snoring softly. "I just curled up next to you." "I was not snoring," she retorted, punching him lightly on the arm. "Oh, I think you were," he replied, looking smug, as he pulled her close. "I'll record it on my phone next time so there'll be no arguments." He laughed, and then before she could say anything more, his lips claimed hers, in what could only be described as the best morning kiss she'd ever experienced. When they pulled apart, she was breathless from the force of his kisses, her lips bruised, the rest of her burning with desire. They heard sounds from the landing and realised that the rest of the household were awake, so they got up. Charlie felt suddenly shy in the presence of such male nakedness. "Coffee?" he asked. "Yeah, I'll be down in a bit," she replied as she watched him leave, tipping her a cheeky wink. She smiled as she found her leotard and footless tights and slipped them on, shrugging on her long woolly jumper before heading down to the kitchen. She paused at the door, because this whole thing felt just so strange, yet so right. To be standing and walking in all the places where her mum had been 24 years ago made her mind flip out, and she couldn't help but believe that somehow this was meant to be. She was meant to bring her mum back to the person who had loved her all those years ago. The kitchen was a hive of industry as she sat down next to Mitch, whilst his dad fed the toaster with a mountain of bread. "Hope you are hungry," he asked them all, as Darren sat down opposite them. "Were you two up last night?" Darren grinned. "Yeah, just dancing," Mitch assured his brother, reaching over to squeeze Charlotte's hand beneath the table. "Yeah, right," he smirked. "When will you be needing a cameraman then?" "Probably not until this evening, and maybe not until tomorrow morning. Depends on how things go today," Mitch replied, reaching for a piece of toast. "Well, you must try and get some fresh air and show Charlotte our town," James said, sat opposite Charlie. She didn't fail to notice James's stare and the slight shake of his head. It was pretty obvious he was reminded of Steph while looking at her, his expression one of guilt and regret. So, what is going to happen next? It's all getting terribly exciting. I'm saying this and I wrote the thing. Once again, I do hope you're enjoying listening to me read it to you. If you do, pop a like on my YouTube channel and maybe even subscribe. Please feel free to share it around your friends. And if you are burning with curiosity to find out what happens next, then you can grab a free copy from my website, which is www.audrinalane.co.uk, or you can buy it from Amazon, as it's now available in paperback. So once again, thank you for listening, and I will see you all again soon. Bye for now.